Hare Krishna. My name is Maithri and I'm a Krishna devotee. I came in touch with ISKCON temple when I was in the third grade, that is 8 years old, and since then I've never looked back. I've never been a very regular temple goer actually, because my father is not a devotee and he's quite strict, so when I was dependent on him, we never actually did. I love Krishna, and when I was 7th to 8th standard, that's when I peaked in my spirituality. I knew that ISKCON temple didn't have a club for girls, so there was no way I could associate with ISKCON temple more than, well, anybody else because, well, I'm not a boy. So I never really complained about it, but I had questioned a Prabhuji that why don't you entertain girls in the temple? Now I know. So I started reading books, a lot of books. I have covered so many of Srila Prabhupada's books actually. All the books that were E small and E big, I have covered. The first book that I read, and I believe it was the first book I remember actually that I read, is a book called A Second Chance. That book I read every night before going to bed. It gave me nightmares. What I would dream about is Ajamala getting dragged to hell and Vishnu Dutas coming and stopping the Yamadutas from doing that. If you've not read this book, I highly recommend you do. And I've never stopped reading since that book because, well, tell me more about Krishna. And throughout my school years, let's say up to 10th standard, 12th standard, I had this temple calendar, tabletop calendar, and there was this picture of Krishna, this small, and he was so adorable. When I was in my 11th grade, I fell in love at first sight with a person in my class. I saw him and I just like, okay, I'm in love. He was way out of my league. I never communicated to anybody, and I was just, you know what, it's not gonna happen, let's not waste my time. And then one fine day, I'm sad thinking about him, whatever, and I just pull the drawer of my study table and I look at this tabletop calendar. I'm like, hey, I've had you for a few months now. Why are you not on top of my tabletop? Because it was 2-3 years ago before I got it from my perima. So I put it in and I looked at him. And I looked at him every single day. And when I study, like I'm studying and I look at him. And I go back to studying. And then I understood that he's my companion when I'm studying. So I called him my study buddy. He later on, like only recently did I find out that he's actually the Chotu Vigraha in ISKCON Bangalore. I've been to Bangalore one time before, but I never understood that it is him. Now, over the months that I saw my study buddy, I never knew his name, so over the years that I saw my study buddy, I understood that he looked so much like the guy I fell in love with. And I fell in love with my study buddy more and more. I cried exactly like this when I went to ISKCON Bangalore a year back, less than a year back, and I saw him and I'm like, how did I not know that you're in Bangalore? I'm from Mysore and Bangalore is only 3 hours journey. But how did I not know? How did I not come to see you before? And since that time, that is when I peaked in my spirituality at 8th standard, it has never peaked again. I've always been, I know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, I read his books, but I'm not going to chant. I'm not interested in chanting and stuff. Then I got married to a wonderful Krishna devotee. His name is Shashank. I'm not in. There's no more that my first love. It's no more. Krishna is my only love since then. I got married, and yeah, I went to Vrindavan, and there I chanted 16 rounds a day. And on just before going to Vrindavan, I also chanted 16 rounds on Krishna's birthday. I was ecstatic. I loved it, and since then I've been trying to chant 16 rounds a day, but I'm not getting there. Something or the other crops up, or I'm too lazy and I just Netflix, So I have a lot of things to say about Krishna, but I don't have the audience. I never thought I would require an audience, but well, what is the use of me just talking to the mirror, right? And I keep thinking constantly about Krishna. So that is why I created a dedicated channel, so that I can only think about and talk about Krishna. And what say that I meet fellow devotees and in the YouTube community. Now, I've heard a lot about YouTube community being all rude and hatred and stuff. I have another YouTube channel called Maithri Ashokan, where sometimes I see, but most of the times I have really loving people who say beautiful things about things, whatever I make videos about. I don't care about that. Like, my priority is always Krishna, and I made this video for exactly that reason. And I'm going to talk only about Krishna and my spiritual growth. I want to make it clear that I'm not a perfect human being whatsoever, and I'm definitely not a perfect Krishna devotee, but I'm learning. And this entire janam, I know at every nook and corner of my life, I realized that the only reason I have taken this human birth in this family, in this situation, in this body, with this hair, is all towards Krishna, because I want, he's my lover. Yes, I'm at that level. He's my lover, and I never find anybody, satisfying, because I always compare everybody to Krishna. So come on, are you kidding me? So I love my Krishna. I call him Kanu, and that's why my channel name is Kanu and I, because Kanu is my everything. So yeah, so stay with me. Look at the videos I make. I'm not gonna, so I've been bothered about, oh, what am I wearing, what's the background, and I'm not gonna worry about any of those things when I'm making videos for this channel. I don't really care. Amma sapura. So because I don't really care, it's only about the namam that I'm wearing and what I'm saying, as long as I'm talking about Krishna. So stick with me if you want to know about my spiritual journey, and if you want to discuss anything, I'm there. If you want to chastise me, I will hear you. And if you want to talk more and more about Krishna, discuss about him, I'm totally there. So Hare Krishna.